everybody? You know what time it is. I know what time it is. That's right. It's time for Syntax Live. How you guys doing? And somebody is idling in my driveway. Who the hell might be idling in my driveway? Well, they just shut off. That's right. It is already Brian jumping in early with a $10 super chat. And where the fuck is my mic? I swear. Ah, you bastard. Sorry about that, guys. I swear. There's always one thing I forget, and this time it was the damn mic. Anyway, welcome everybody, and thank you, Brian. I'm writing you down right now as your $10 super chat is going on. And all right. You got way ahead of me on that one, guys. Way ahead of me. And here I am breaking all my equipment. What the hell? Oh, shit. I swear. Sometimes the world karma just wants to kick me right in the nuts. And hopefully it's not kicking any of you guys in the nuts, because here I am dropping shit. I hope you guys are doing really well this week. We're going to be going over, obviously, everything this past week. And I got a whole bunch of news on video games, shows, streaming and otherwise, and including some movies. So we're going to be going over that as I pop a top and get this thing started.
Reactor online, sensors online, weapons online, all systems nominal.
Cheers, everybody. And I was able to modify the soundboard a little bit thanks to you guys. Hopefully we don't spend too much time down the slip space rupture. Yeah, I had to cut that short. 18 seconds is a bit much. That one is actually courtesy of MTF Guard or not just MTF Guard, but War Sniper. Sorry, I got you guys mixed up here. But he's been on the Discord, been helping me out, and I finally was able to get that sound effect. But let's hope that we get some more sound effects coming in. I'm redoing my stream deck constantly. I finally got all the pieces together to put one of the sound effects together that everybody's aware of. And I'll do that one as I check to see how many people are here. Wait a minute.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
That's even better when you're actually on the machine gun range and somebody's able to pull that shit off. That is just hysterical. And all right. Without further ado, or in my case, because everything's been going wrong, no matter how much I try to fix it, we're going to go into the first one of this past week. There's something in the water. And this one was kind of a hint. The big hint was right in front of you on the thumbnail. However, it was what's in the water. You always wonder what's in the water. And hopefully you guys actually got it. And I got to stop because someone who, what's your last name again? Oh, that's right. It's Erica is here, and she's dropping a $10 super chat. And I got to be careful on doing that too much. I've had some really bad headaches lately. But thank you very much. And she sends in a thank you for the amazing stories. Also, be nice to your computer mouse. Bad mouse, bad mouse. And then we have somebody who is here strictly
For the Emperor!
That's MTF Guard. And he says, I did remember sending you a few clips this week. Not a whole lot because I was busy with stuff. Hey, no worries. Also, what's your take on the Discord situation? It's been wanting to ask you that in the server, but I ain't seen you on it to ask. I'm on it, but rarely. Like today, I had to run over to take care of my dad. I had to take care of my nephew. We had to go help a buddy out. I wasn't around much today, and I'll get into more of that. Or I should say, hold on, I said the magic word. But I am on there. I try to get on first thing in the morning. and at least 1 or 2 times during the day. However, I do not write when sitting in front of this computer. It's like putting crack in front of an addict. I got to get away, or I'm going to click on YouTube once, and then there goes 30 minutes. And I'm just like, So just like any other addiction, if you know it's a problem, figure out what the trigger is and just stay away from it. And as that's a good way to put the safety on the trigger. You keep your finger out of the trigger well, and it won't go off. Now, as far as getting on the Discord, I've been trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with that Discord. I've been going through. It's not set to private. It should be open for anybody to get in. And I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. I've been going through a bunch of YouTube videos, and so far nothing is fixing yet. I'm going to keep going. I will do everything I can. If it gets to the point where I need to invite you personally, we'll actually do part of the stream next week to do that, and you guys will put them in, and I'll just save them onto a notepad or onto Microsoft, whatever, and I'll put those in the Discord and send the requests. So, here I screwed that up. Okay. Back to there's something in the water. Hopefully you guys figured out there was something in the water. And yes, it was either caffeine or ethyl alcohol. And that was originally, it was supposed to be, what is in human water? And the problem is I didn't have the visual to hold the thing up and go, gin, what else? Where you notice every single alcohol I listed was a clear liquor. Vodka, clear absinthe, gin, these are all, they look like water. Moonshine, if done right, is perfectly clear. There's no haze in it. So, yeah, that's why they can't figure out what the hell was in the water, because even with their enhanced visuals, they couldn't figure it out. Now, originally, this story was supposed to go somewhere else. So if you're writing, for the love of God, if you find yourself going down a rabbit hole, that's probably not a bad thing. See where it takes you. If it means you write 2 pages before you realize you've gone down the wrong way, it is what it is. You might suffer a little bit of
emotional damage,
but it is what it is. Absolutely, it is what it is. So, originally it was supposed to be when a human drinks alone, they prefer to be by themselves. But I figured that was a little too, on the nose on that one. However, that was pretty much it as far as the talk on this one is. I hope you guys figured out the little mystery as you're going. And we moved on to something that was requested, which I am working on the next one, and that is something familiar. And yes, the main character did rage out. He raged against the machine, but he's more raging against himself. Now, I believe it was Erica said she felt bad for the incubus. You don't have to feel bad. It's just demonic puberty. You got to remember when you're dealing with, and this is important for you guys when you're writing in particular, when you are writing a different species, they do not at any time have to follow any type of preset, whatever in the hell you want that's there. Okay. A lot of times when I talk about like dwarves, I will follow, I believe it's Tolkien, and he said males and females both grow beards. Okay, fine, done. Easy enough. Same thing with elves. A lot of times elves are very, very linked to nature, and they physically cannot use technology without, screwing them or potentially screwing themselves up. Not that it will, potentially. If it's not a preset species, you can do whatever the hell you want. The kicker is, I did a lot of research on the incubus and succubus. A lot of times they are the same creature, and sometimes they're not. If they're in a pure physical form, they can't just swap back and forth. I know on, I forget which game it was, where you get to meet up with a succubus and changes from a female to a male depending on which person you say to go sleep with it for information. Doesn't always happen that way. In the ethereal form, yes, they do that all the time. However, to actually conceive, for demonics to conceive is extremely difficult and very, how do I put this? unnatural, which is kind of the point. The demonic puberty that this character is going through is, again, it's unnatural. You notice he's growing very fast. He actually like goes through a molting period, but he's molting from the inside out, not the outside in. He doesn't actually shed anything. It's literally just ripping everything into place. Now, small spoiler, but I'm not going to make a huge spoiler. Scarlet, since she is a succubus, she goes through what's known as a chrysalis, just like a caterpillar into a butterfly. She turns in, I think I mentioned it before, she actually cocoons herself for about a month, and when she comes out, she's full. She's all filled out and shit. However, or I should say, but that is obviously not natural. So again, for you guys who, and I know a lot of you are writing, and I look forward to reading it. Make sure whenever you work on a different species, understand that they do not have to follow us. They do not have to sleep when we do. They do not grow at the same speed. They don't live as long. They might have different limbs. They might be able to see things we can't, smell things we can't, or it's the other way around where we can see shit they can't. It was a while ago, I was writing a story and I never did finish it, where the species they ran across had no eyes. They had no idea what vision actually was. And when they actually got hooked up with something that allowed them to see, a lot of them started freaking the hell out and like wanting to hurt themselves. So there's that. I'm going to jump to the next one. What is going on with human personal transports, i.e. PT boats? And yes, that little green part on the side, yes, that is a quote directly from the story. It's so big. I'll let your mind kind of go. There's a little bit of clickbait, but whatever. And by the way, yes, that is beer tonight. Or for YouTube purposes, it's apple juice in a different bottle. Now, as far as this one, this actually came from one of you guys' questions. When you asked me what a human personal transport ship would be, I used this story to demonstrate it. Okay, this is why I love you guys so much, because you are helping me be able to find something new to create here. Okay, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. And we'll go into, you know, what you guys suggest later. I'm still trying to work on others, but time restraints. Regardless, with this, I wanted to make a point that when somebody first goes into space with their own personal transport ships, it really depends on what they can afford, what they can acquire, or things like that. However, they will have the bare necessities. They will have a galley, which is, for those that don't speak nautical, that's your kitchen. They will have a head, bathroom. They will have a rack, a bed. They'll have a cockpit. There will be a keel somewhere in that ship, because you can't have a ship without one. Now, when it comes to space-based ships, a lot of times there's multiple keels on the outside, and it's literally meant to contain, similar to that of a submarine. You know, obviously you're going to have at least one engine. However, eventually people are going to improve them. A better quality of able to make food, a nicer place to sleep. And of course, let's face it, if we have an option to get holographic technology that's going to be our new entertainment, you think we're not going to take advantage of that shit? Holy jumping Jehoshaphat. So, but yeah, that's where I wanted to go over it now. Let's see. And yes, there was a few Trek references in there. There was the, you know, go where no human's gone before. There was actually another reference, but I'll let you guys find it. But there really wasn't too much in the comment section for this one. I've been trying to stay a little bit away from the innuendos and the whole, I meet an alien and the first thing we do is, you know, Caboose, help me out with that.
Hicks doesn't trust me right now.
Really?
Why not?
Because I got to use a sniper rifle and I ended up unloading a round into her ass.
Hey, chicka bum bum.
Caboose, what did I tell you about that?
Sorry.
Yeah. So, let's see. Moving right along, we had This Is Our Way. And that was kind of a human psychological study because let's face it, once there are groups out in the ether, you're going to find a lot of groups, unlike they do here on this planet, they're going to fuck each other up something fierce over simple moral reasons. However, I don't want to say the more strict, but the better a society is for its own people, the stronger it's going to be. And that's the one that's going to come down and bring wholesale just beat down on whoever in hell they're going to do it to. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one. There wasn't a lot of comments on this one at all. So I'm not going to stay on it too much. But yeah, like it says on the bottom, no hesitation, no mercy, and no prisoners. Or hold on, where is it?
No prisoners.
That sounds a whole lot better than
No prisoners. Boy, it sounds like I just got kicked right in the nuts.
every time I hit that button. All right. I'll see. Last one I want, and this is what's coming. It's already set. This one is dropping on midnight tonight. Okay. A fine ship. And yeah, I'm not going to ruin anything. We'll just talk about that one next week. But for right now, and if you're looking at the screen right now, this is as close as I could get to the actual like show, having her like turn around. And this is Mirage from The Incredibles because I had Mrs. Incredible's ass right here. But this is as close as I could get. So sorry. Oh, excuse me. The beer just kind of bumped me. All right. Since we already ran through those and we ran through them really fast, let's watch the video clip that was sent to me this week.
Blast zone. Device activated.
You know, for something like that, I keep trying to get the old thing from the movie Spawn. I think it was Danny DeVito played Clown. He goes, "Peekaboo, I see you." And I can't, I mean, seriously, I've been bouncing all over the place. The only one time I found it, they wanted like $25. I'm like, dude, no. I'll just stick with the one from Hotel Transylvania. Peekaboo. All right. We're going to jump into video games now, and unfortunately, I don't have the titles for these straight up. I'm going to remove that, though. So I'm just going to be talking about these. Now, Guard, I know you're a big video game guy, so you're going to know more about this than I do. But Sony refused to update a game called Ghosts of, and I'm going to screw this up, Yoti. And the sales numbers are absolute crap. Apparently, a lot of people canceled their pre-orders, and a lot of folks are just not showing up to buy this. So, from what I can see, they got sweet babied. And if you know what I'm talking about, it's an incorporated, and they will just wokeify the living dog piss out of things to make it not worth it. Apparently, a game called Killer Inn. As in INN, as in an actual building. Again, that was made for modern audiences. And I'm just like, what in the ever-loving snot? What are you doing? I tried to watch the preview for that. I had to turn it off in about 10 seconds. I'm sitting there going, no. And then here's one, and this is one of the things that gets me, is they'll take an actual good series, something that people enjoy, and then they'll sweet baby it and turn it into something that everybody despises. Okay. And that's a Horizon Hunter's Gathering. The trailer has been ratioed 2-1 to the downvotes. I mean, just oi. And I'm just like, wow, just wow. When you gamers yell out on that stuff, you guys really make a splash. I'll tell you, better than the movie guys. The problem is the studios aren't listening. I don't know who the hell's paying them on the back end, but they're taking something on the back end. Let's see. Now the video game Knight's Path, I got mixed stories on that one. I'm going to have to come back to that one. I had something written right here for it, and then I actually scratched it out because I found conflicting reports, so I can't say too much. Now, here's one that just, Overwatch. Everybody here knows Overwatch. Most of you enjoy Overwatch. I never got a chance to play it. I enjoy watching the cinematics. They look fun. That being said, there was a character redesign for, once again, say it together with me, modern audiences, which was made everybody just say, I don't think so. A lot of folks just said, hold on, Cartme, help me out.
Screw you guys, I'm going home.
And it was just, it was so bad. And that's when let's see, where is it? Yeah, and they're hurting bad. Everyone, and this is a big game. I don't understand why the whole time. I just want to have one of these. Like, why? I don't. And I would have more pictures up for that one. Oh, Christ. Okay. Now here's the fun part about that. As soon as everybody said, fuck this, Overwatch decided to fully cancel the redesign because they took somebody like Tracer, and she's what, 5'10" or something like that, and about as thick around as his pen. They made her 5'4" and heavier than me. Why? She's a preset character. People enjoy it, and it doesn't make sense that somebody moves that fast is going to be like that. It just doesn't freaking work. Don't even want to know what they were doing with the assassin girl character. The guys looked, oh my God. Seriously. I'll just say, the guys looked fabulous. I'm not even joking. But as soon as the boycott started, and everybody just stopped playing, because let's face it, in this, that's the only way you win this game. The only way to win is to not play. Boom, done. They canceled the redesign. They brought back in the original designs, and it's especially for new new characters. They threw out the new redesigns, and everyone's like, "Okay, thank you. Now we're not going to go bankrupt." Unlike the Reloaded game that's coming out. The player rating, I shit you not, I double checked this because I wasn't sure. 22 out of 100. And as one guy put it, that's generous because there's a lot of reviews that they were deleting because somebody wasn't a member. I'm just like, what? And all these ones that suck, they all got sweet babied. I'm like, why? As soon as you dig in, you realize that they decided to grab a hold of this thing and just go, no, you have to do it my way. Why? Because I said so, or else I'll sue you. And which is blackmail. It's extortion. It's against the law, but they don't give a shit. And yeah, they're trying to make a game for everybody, or remake the game that's for everybody, so it only suits them, so they can feel special about themselves. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Ugh. I mean, it's bad enough every time I look at him, I start screaming, it's a trap. But every time somebody panders to these guys, it's
congratulations, you played yourself.
I mean, come on. I mean, we keep telling them don't do it, but then they see the numbers And we're going to go into streaming here, by the way, and it's just bad. Just like they saw the numbers on Star Trek Academy.
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
And they fucked up bad. And I actually have to write this down because I want to quote it. It was disturbingly cringe. And look, trying to watch any of the bits that are on YouTube is just, I'd rather take this bottle and break it against my forehead and let the glass slide across my forehead. It's that bad. It is so horrible. But as I'm watching it, I suddenly had a realization, a sudden moment of realization that decided to
Gotcha, bitch.
with me and said, they got the Halo treatment. That's what happened. They got the Halo treatment. And what I mean by that is they hired people to write, produce, direct, and everything for Trekkie Trek that hate Trekkie Trek. They did that with Halo. They hired a bunch of people for, was it 343 Industries to do the Halo who hated Halo. They hated everything about it. They hated the explosions. They hated the firearms. They hated the fact that a male character, so the hell what? They hated the idea that it was military at all. Well, yeah, it's in the middle of a fucking war. What the hell do you think was going to happen? They're going to sit there and fling teddy bears at each other? Or better yet, what are you going to do? Yell trick or treat at them? I mean, come on. Oh. And I'm sorry. Ever since Trek got real famous again after Next Generation, the quality of the Treks has been going down and down and down. They thought they struck gold with Deep Space Ripoff, the one that stole everything from Babylon 5. They thought they hit that, but I'm sorry, no. The only thing that made that one worth anything was the sub characters. Those actors did an amazing job, and I will not stop saying that. They did great. The captain, I'm sorry, no. He just, every time he talks, he sounds like he's in some sort of a, fuck no. Every single one of the captains after the bald guy has been such, as far as character-wise, so weak. It's sad. Ugh. But yeah, they got people that don't like Trek. It blows my mind. All right, downplaying from science fiction to something more fantasy focused. The Tomb Raider TV show is being made. And I don't know if you guys have seen the pictures that have come out. They don't have any video. They just have pictures. And the actress who plays Lara Croft does not fit the role. And as soon as I wrote that down, I actually have, it's right here, ... again. They got another woman who does not fit the role. Not physically, at least. She might be an exceptional actress. I don't know. I'm not holding out hope. Reason being is because they might do her dirty like they did Ahsoka, like they did Harleen Quinzel, all these preset female characters, and they end up getting somebody who does not fit at all. Either they can't play the part, or their producer or director has got their head so far up their fourth point of contact that they just don't understand what the hell these characters are like. I mean, and then they twist everything back around. Case in point, you got with the Ahsoka character. Everything was wrong. The makeup, the costume, the way she talked, the way she walked, the way she fought. All that was wrong. Everything about it was wrong. And would I prefer a CGI character? I would prefer they didn't make a live action Ahsoka at all and just kept it to the original person they were supposed to, the one who refused to bend the knee to the pandering. You know, the butch lady, the actual MMA fighter who is now an actress. You know, she did a good job for what she was doing, and it worked. But you know what? Politics, as soon as it oozes up in there, it spreads like a fucking cancer. And it just, it just hurts me that they got treated like that. And then you have the girl who played Harleen Quinzel, i.e. the Joker's ex-girlfriend. And by the way, if they had bothered to read a fucking comic that was produced in the past 10 years, they would know that Harleen would rather beat the shit out of Mr. J, and if he tried to kiss her, she'd bite his tongue off because that's what she fucking did. She hates him that much. She would not immediately go back the moment he showed up. And by the way, the Joker is not a meth head. He never was a meth head. I don't know who idea that was, but they need to be drug out to the street and kicked in the nuts a few dozen times and then punched in the throat. Ugh. And this is what I mean by they got the Ahsoka treatment. They just got somebody who doesn't do it right. What the fuck are they thinking, man? I mean, come on. It says you have a preset character. Just follow the preset character. Oi. Okay, I need a drink. All right. Now on to the movie. And now I should have, if I had more time to get it, I would have got a picture for this. But then again, I'm not sure if I want to dirty my computer with it. The Mandalorian and Grogu. I don't know where to start with this. I really don't. You get most of us were forced to watch the Super Bowl. I only watched it because my nephew wanted to watch it on the big TV. And I saw something I thought was a Christmas commercial with some reindeer or something. And then here comes Mando being pulled by a bunch of fucking tauntauns. I'm like, wait a minute. This is supposed to be Hoth. Mr. Big Ears better get his fucking head covered or his ears will quite literally freeze off. He is from a tropical planet, not a Arctic one. These dumbasses. And it looks so stupid. I'm there to watch Mando, but now he's a secondary or tertiary character in his own show. It's like that show my dad watches, Castle. I call it the Beckett Show because he's a secondary character. Even though he's the title character, he's secondary. When you do that with the title character, guess what? You lose. That's like, I don't know, doing something like, I don't know, a science fiction one where you're following the main character for the first 3 or 4 games. Then suddenly for 60% of the missions, you're following some other guy that nobody gives a fuck about. Oh, wait, they did that. It was fucking Halo. They did that when they tried to swap him with Locke. Oh, yeah, Locke. Look, he's a badass. No, he's not. The chief is a fucking badass. Okay? The only other badass in that entire group was Buck because he was an ODST and he had to fight his way across New Mombasa. And he was one of, what, a dozen people that survived that shit if you read the stories? So, yeah. And I looked at the commercial and I did what everybody said.
What? What the fuck?
And yeah, I couldn't stop saying that. I mean, if they're trying to appeal to the fans, the current fans, they're doing it wrong. The problem is they've killed it. They've killed it. Kennedy went in as soon as she saw it was profitable. She killed it. She drug it into the mud. She tore it to ribbons. She shoved her fist inside every single orifice and swirled it around. And she just took it down hard. I mean, right in the just. And you just want to smack people for just stop ruining what we like. Just why? Just so you can do it. That's like one of these bullies walking up because they have a Karen mom, and you spend like 3 hours building a sandcastle, and they go step on it. Ha 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 ha. That's funny. Ha ha ha. And you go to stand in front of them. You know, maybe you're 5, 6 years old. Maybe you're going to confront them, and next thing you know, boom, 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 boom. Here comes the mother. Don't you say nothing. I'm like, bitch, I'm just going to swing. I'm just going to tell you, hey, your son's an asshole and you're a bitch. And that's what they did with these. They fucked it up to the point where nobody wants to play anymore. The bully is there. No one wants to say. And again, makes me need a drink. Now, last one I'm going to talk about with the movies. And the numbers finally came out for Snow Yellow. They're in even more trouble financially than we thought. Almost in legal trouble because they went to something called, was it Hider Heart Productions or something like that? Hidden Heart Productions over in the UK, and tried to basically take them to court to say, oh, yeah, you owe us for this extra film time. You shouldn't have charged us. No, you went over budget. That's your own fault. And it come to find out, Snow Yellow, as an entire production, lost $170 million for all of it. The production, all the costume design, everything. They lost that much. I'm like, damn, even for $1 billion company, that's gotta hurt. I mean, that's not quite a drop in the bucket. After all the COVIDity and all this other shit with the unknown virus of unknown infection of unknown origin, the EIU, that my head hurts, people. My head hurts. How can a company lose that much money and not seem to give a shit unless, or it should, I don't have any more additional buts here yet. But I say unless they have something like BlackRock or somebody funding them, putting a couple extra dollars in their back pocket, saying, "Oh yeah, we'll cover all your losses. Just make all these." They don't want to be noticed as the ones who do this shit. But we're just all of us are sitting there looking at this stuff and say,
"You gotta be fucking kidding."
And Erica, it's 170 million, not 370. Did I say 370? If I did, I misspoke. It's 170. I have it written down right here. But yeah, that's a lot. In truth, they could have made 2 or 3 additional movies, decent movies, for the amount of money they lost. And by the way, this is the money they lost, not the money they spent. This is calculating what they already got back. So yeah, holy shit. Just wow. So anyways, here's a quick shooter.
Just deliver that package. Here's our destination, 6. Hello.
Ouch. So anyways, let me jump up here and we'll start right below our MTF Guard super chat. And with War Sniper saying, it is about to kick the Discord community in the ass. Discord would to make us do identification wanding to be sure we are adults for teen friendliness. Sure, you totally want to get your info so you can sell it, Discord. Yeah, 100. Yeah. Where is it? 100% right. 100% right. This whole thing they're trying to do they're saying they're trying to take everybody off of social media who's not an adult. I'm sorry. Those kids will figure out a way around that like that. You don't think when we were younger, we figured out a way around shit? We figured out ways around shit all the damn time. Oh, you're not old enough to drive? If I'm on the back roads, the cop ain't there. Yo, you can't drink. Really? Pay somebody $20 and they go in the liquor store for you. I mean, there was ways around everything. And it just, it blows my freaking mind that they think that kids aren't resourceful, because kids are very, very resourceful. They are beyond resourceful, actually. Because let's face it, even when we were young, you try to tell us we can't do something, we will do it. Okay, Gart says, so first off, things I discovered about Discord. Oh boy. Their current CEO joined in April of 2025. Oh boy. as an intern and became the CEO in August. Wait a minute. He was an intern in April and CEO in August with literally no other promotions and no achievements to earn it. Okay, so he was connected somehow. Okay, fun. Second, their current CEO is just, I'm still attached to YouTube, so I got to be careful. Small hat area, but a former IDF intelligence officer. Oh, isn't just from the small hat community, but also a IDF intelligence. Okay. Called it. They couldn't buy Discord, so they infiltrated and blackmailed their way to the top. Fun. And third, they have somewhat backpedaled in that now. Everybody won't be forced to verify, but they also confirmed that they can collect your data since day one of joining the app. Yeah, I knew that one. And they will be scanning all of that collected data to determine on whether or not you are an adult. So start talking about politics and start sending the boobies. Well, you gotta be careful about that. You know, like one time I oopsied it. I seriously oopsied it because I was looking for something with an ass clip. And
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Something is right because we have the Guardian Sage here. And you know what? I need to find a sound effect for you, and I don't have a magic thing. You know what? Fuck. Anyway, he sends a $10 super chat and says, "Thank you for the stories. I had noticed the where no man has gone before, but I must have missed the other Star Trek reference. Just out of curiosity, have you listened to Adventures in Odyssey? I have not had a chance to listen to anything. You guys gave me like, what was it, a week or two ago? Where is it? It was a whole list of things to listen to, and I haven't been able to get to any of them. Let's see, what the hell? Oh, goddamn, wrong page. Okay, the Jimmy Soul from 1958. The whole "Damn Your Daddy to Hell." Apparently, that's a little video. And there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. I just don't have the time. So yeah, unfortunately, no, I haven't got. I'm gonna write it down on my page here. I'm gonna give myself a note. Adventures in Odyssey. Okay. I'll try to make it a point to look that one up first chance I get. But thank you very much, Guardian. And I swear, I need like, I looked at it with the Schwartz and all that, but I didn't put that on here, and I should have. Damn it. And what's a good one? Fuck. You know what? We'll come back to it. I don't have the right ones for you. I guess my mind's doing a little bit of the this today. All right, thanks again. And let me scroll up here. Now, Guard, as far as sending the tatas on there, just remember they might not let you actually reveal the whole thing. So these would be fine. They're really eye-catching. However, it doesn't break any rules. I actually just had this talk to somebody while I was listening to a live stream while I was working, and unfortunately I only listened to about 10 minutes of it, and then I actually sent a quick one. I was like, "Hey guys, be careful! The new rules are in. If you're gonna put something in the chat for MGTOW TV, it can't be sexually explicit, but bare skin works because bare skin is not explicit. Somebody's not doing an actual act. It's just it's like showing your face, your cheeks here. You know, if this is what turns you on, you need therapy. Okay. Guard's talking about the new rules saying it's YouTube 2.0. Yep. And there's Deathbed with always good with innuendos in jokes. I will bring some more of those back. They seem to go over pretty well, especially with this crowd, and I hope you guys don't mind. War Sniper, of course, says, well, then my Titan Destroyer spaceship is a PT boat, one that is 20 to 50 times larger than a Titan because it's fully automated. As long as it's somebody's personal transport, as in it belongs to one person, not a group of people, regardless of size, it can be a personal transport. I was actually thinking, and you guys can tell me if you think this is a good idea, to do an entire, basically instructional video breaking down the different types of ships by their classification and showing that there's going to be a lot of crossover because a frigate is designed for one particular purpose. Can a frigate be a PT boat? Yes. Can a destroyer be a PT boat? Yes, but in limited quantity. Can a battleship be a PT boat? Yes, but it'd probably be stripped down. Reason being, there's no reason for somebody to have a goddamn battleship. I mean, it still has to go within reason because you still have upkeep and everything else. But it's regardless of size, and it just has to have one owner and be their personal craft. Now, believe it or not, if you go into the DC universe, the War World, because it can be operated by one person and is owned by whoever holds the command crystal, that is still, even though it's the size of a fucking moon, is in fact a personal transport, or can be classified, not will it. But yes, War Sniper, you are 100% correct. All right, Guardians here says, I didn't comment on the three most recent ones because I was listening to them back to back and I was driving for most of it. Okay. All right, no worries. No worries at all. Most of the people who listen to my stuff either listen at work or listen when they're driving to and from work or driving for work. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's just a way to keep the mind occupied. And, you know, I try to throw a couple loops and twists and turns and stuff to make sure you don't fall asleep at the wheel. Chris saying, I took a on-site security assessment job. Okay. Basically, I was looking for blind spots and weaknesses. My first night after a walkthrough, I broke in as a test and had zero difficulty getting in and out. So it was real smooth getting in and out. Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around. Continues here. It says, the next day I broke down what I did and how I did it, then spent the next week and a half fixing their issues. My last few nights for them, after either failing to stop me, filled by corrective measures, and stopping when they could finally stop me. I have heard about these jobs before. I thought those were a thing of the past now, but apparently not. But then again, of course, you always have to test the system, which was always kind of funny when I could sneak into a patrol base because everybody was asleep. And patrol bases are supposed to be unbelievably secured. Chris comes in again. He says, I froze to death. Well, zombie! He's a zombie! Darn near got frostbite, but it paid well. Might make a good story. Yeah. Well, I mean, I already did it like one winter story. You can only do so many winter survival stories before they just repeat, because winter survival is unbelievably basic. Your job is to stay warm and stay hydrated. Food is an afterthought. So anyway, yeah. Now I will say this, like when I don't know if I told you guys this, I'm pretty sure I have. When I was in Korea, they brought us out late January into early February, 3-week field problem. The very first night, I believe it was our Alpha company was out there, some dumb shit not only did he not train anybody or have anybody trained to take care of winter survival, he had at least 50% of his company went down with hypothermia, and one kid came down with a bad case of frostbite, and I don't know if they were able to save whatever parts he had. Obviously, their company did not stay in the field. They were immediately medevaced out of there. Transport was there, and they were back to the rear, where I guarantee most of them spent probably 30 minutes in a hot shower, or an hour probably, just trying to warm up. Which actually is one of the worst things you can do, is warm up very fast after you've been that cold. It gets very, very bad. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask anybody who's been to the north, and then ask them if they ever got like super itchy after they did that. Your skin actually starts to crack. It dries out so fast, and then you're just constantly itchy. And then, of course, the hot shower doesn't help because you're actually burning the skin. So, yeah, fun. Yeah, sounds like loads and loads of fun, guys. You're right. Oh, by the way, Douglas, yeah, don't forget, you're good for this entire week. I want to say this. I know you say you're joining on the Android, but I don't know if you got my message. For those of you out there, there's an issue with YouTube not telling me who actually put money in, okay? Douglas reminded me that he did, and I was actually going through all my digital folders, and I noticed on the revenue there was a little bump, and I was like, nobody sent me anything that day. And this was, I think, like Thursday or Friday of last week. And I was like, what the hell? And he let me know today that he was the one who sent that in. If you send it and I do not mention your name, you could do one of two things. Either one, send me a message like he did, or two, you can do what Demon did, and he actually took a screenshot and let me know, because I'm not trying to be an asshole here. I mean, I am an asshole, but I'm not that type of asshole.
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
So anyway, Guards up here saying the New Horizon game is literally Concord number 4. I haven't played Concord, so I will leave that one alone. Really, it keeps changing Sin to San. Why? That doesn't make any sense. It's getting to the point where the whole self-censorship is just driving everybody nuts. Which is why when a lot of the censorship left on X, I was like, man, I better start making videos. I have like 10 videos lined up to create for X. I haven't been able to make them for the Crazy Uncle channel. I just do not have the fucking time. And but anyways, sorry. I don't mean to get agitated, guys. I really don't, but it just drives me crazy that I want to actually make those. And what the hell? Something's down here. And somebody saying,
Gotcha, bitch.
As it is Skip coming in. He says, sorry for being late. I was caught in a no good deed goes unpunished. My neighbor had a doctor's appointment, food shopping, and take out her trash. Hey, it never hurts to be the good guy. It actually pains me because over the past week, I was the asshole, guys. I'm sorry. I was the asshole. We had a couple of kids show up here just down the street, and it was right after the snowstorm, and they said, hey, $20, we'll shovel your driveway. And I told them no, because honestly, I grew up in an area where blowing snow was common. I know how to get through it. And plus, I had an excavator to plow us out anyway. Excavator, by the way, got too goddamn cold, and even the treated fuel gelled. That being said, I should have just said, hey, here's some money. Keep on the grind. Keep going. And fuck. I seriously, I actually have a folded $50 bill within arm's reach of me right now waiting for these guys to show up and say, hey, you want to shovel your driveway and the next time snow? Yes. Okay. It's you can't stop them from the grind, guys, because if you stop them from that early, then a lot of times they don't get back on that horse, especially at that age. So anyway, sorry, I got a sliver from bringing the wood today too. But yeah, thank you very much, Skip. And yeah, hey, let's hope Karma is going to give you a reach around. Okay, that sounded wrong. That sounded like it should be on. All right, where the hell were we? Okay, here's Guard saying, dude, they straight up, I don't know if I can say that word, chuckled one of the original characters, Doomfist, in not just the game, but also the animations, just to prop up some buzz cut, long, ponytailed, dark-skinned liver licker with a sword. The same Doomfist who in the first year of the game was a little nightmare to fight against because he was a DPS unit before they sliced his damage to a quarter and made him a tank. Continuing. Oh, yeah. It was also kind of exposed to those people digging through the internals of the game. Over half of the female cast have the same exact head model. Really? Somebody either got rushed or got bored. He continues, literally the same head, giggity, and face, just with a helmet, different hair or something like freckles on it. It's like that one episode of Regular Show, and they said the toys were just the same character. I never saw the Regular Show. So I'm going to take your word for that. But yeah, almost like the whole robot thing from Simpsons back in the day. Let's see. Chris is up here saying, when I want to make Batman fans angry, I start a passionate argument explaining why Jared Leto is the best Joker. They get so pissed. I'm guessing this Leto guy was the stoner with the gold teeth. I know why they did the gold teeth, because they're trying to match the cartoon. But the guy didn't have the same energy as the cartoon. I'm like, if they wanted to tease people with the Joker, they should have just had Mark Hamill do the Joker laugh way off, like right towards the end. You didn't even have to show him. You just had to have the laugh. Just like they did with Pimpatine there for Star Horse. And by the way, that was not practice. That one just came out. What was it? Count Pimpatine for the Star Horse. Sitting there saying, where's my money? And there isn't any. So, actually, before I go anywhere, let me, I guess this one. Want to make sure I have the butts on standby. Okay. Erica says, those are fighting words in some circles. I'm sure they are. Guards up here saying, oh, yeah, they hype Superman Noir. In other words, Superman Black film is already looking like it's getting the TV equivalent of Sweet Babied. Oh, hell. If they're talking about the Miles Morales character, now he's been done right. The only thing that they did wrong was they brought in Spider-Gwen. And they try to make those two have a relationship. And those, no matter what I see those with, the personalities that are there, you know, they say opposites attract. No, they would hate each other. They would physically hate each other. They would want to kill each other. And I don't mean want to kill each other with enough passion where they want to fuck. I mean, they would actually want to hurt each other. Guard saying, instead of being a nitty-gritty early 1990s themed Spider-Man, it's literally just Soviet Union capitalism bad, XYZ, gender is good, straight is bad, that kind of crap. Oh, God, what is with these people fucking up these characters? You know what you should do to people who talk like this, that say, oh, no, we have to do this change to the character to make it more inclusive? Tell them to rip out all their fucking teeth, because all their teeth are supposed to be straight and white too, right? Oy! I really don't want to get into politics here, but Jesus, titty fucking Christ, this is getting crazy. But it's not like we can get away from it. They're constantly throwing themselves in our faces, and all I can do is spit in their eye. Guard says the one thing I can forgive them for with the Ahsoka series and just Ahsoka in general is the little head tendrils, and that's because the actual prop weighed over 40 pounds at that size. That's why there's and the things I've seen the original. There was a short. I kind of wish I had saved the link to it, or I'd post it. The original one had a neck brace. Now the only thing that she couldn't do, like Batman, the original Michael Keaton, she couldn't turn her head because it was locked into her shoulders. It would go up right behind where you couldn't see it. It's the same color, and they'd have to just go in with each of the frame and basically Microsoft paint that sucker the seam away. And when you have somebody who's the same color as the paint, that would be unbelievably simple. They'd be able to do one frame every like 10 seconds. It wouldn't take long at all. And then, of course, the angles that you shoot at, you could keep from showing it anyway. And the thing is, the rubber prop, the only part that had to be heavy was the tendrils that hang down. And that little wide section on the back. The top pieces that actually go up and back, those could be inflatable. Nobody would have gave a shit. Seriously. He continues with, they tried making one that would match what they looked like in the animated series, and it would have been almost 70-pound rubber prop on a head. Again, there's ways around this. The props department, now, again, the one I seen that was braced was, yes, it was just under 40 pounds, which is heavy. I'm not going to debate that. However, it's not it still would work. But the thing is, because they had to shorten, and by the way, those tendrils there and the horns are her ears. They naturally grow bigger over time. That's just the way her species goes. And the fact that they could or wouldn't do it, that's just a bitch slap to the character. Okay? It doesn't make any sense. At least to me. Now, could I forgive them for thinking it was just too goddamn heavy? A little bit. However, all they had to do was thin out the tendrils and stuff. There's ways around that. But still, even with the headdress that now weighs like what, 6.5 pounds at most, dude, the K-pot I wore in freaking Iraq weighed more than that with all the shit I had on it. And trust me, your neck gets strong. I also walked around for a while with a steel pot for a while because we didn't have any helmets in my size. We were waiting for the shipment. Not a big deal. But yeah, your neck gets real strong, real fast. Okay, Chris says, I lost $100 once at a bar when I was 22. I still remember it, and I kicked myself over the drinks I missed out on. Yep. That's actually one of the things. When I was really young, the first, I don't even think I was 10 years old yet. I was talked into playing poker, and I thought it was going to be a friendly game. Bullshit. I ended up owing them $50. Now, in the mid to late 1980s, $50 was a lot of money for a young kid like that. And somehow I scraped the money up and I paid my debts, but I don't like gambling at all. Guardian says, Adventures in Odyssey is an audio drama series. It has been in production since the 1990s. Lots of good morals and family-friendly content. Sounds like a pretty large investment. And don't get me wrong, from the way you're hyping it up, it probably is nice. It's just, I just don't have the time to sit there and listen. Maybe if I was driving back and forth to work. Chris here saying, the people into feet pics need therapy. Just look up. There's so much more to see. Or just look up. There's so much more to see, especially when you take those feet and you pull them apart. You know, I don't understand the feet thing. I really don't. The closest I ever got to that is every time I've had a girlfriend, every single time, they always come in and something happened. Either they broke a heel or they stepped on something and they're limping or they twisted their knee or whatever it might be. Maybe they were on for a double shift and they had to stand the whole time. They come in and they barely want to move. And I just crank on those feet, just calming everything down. And more often than not, you know what happens? They pass out. Once they get past the initial ow, 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 ow. And then there's the all of a sudden, that actually feels good. I'm like, yeah, now hold still. And by the way, stop kicking me with your other foot. And then you just keep going. And all you're doing is kneading it's just like any other massage. Anybody who has not been taught, all you have to know is it's kneading dough. That simple motion of kneading dough. If you can do that, you can do a fucking massage. Is really not that difficult to do. Now, if you want to go into specific things like how to get the knots out of certain areas, how to pop joints without actually doing damage, by the way, or you know the how you can tell the difference between a joint, skeletal or muscular damage, you know, then it gets a little more complicated. However, if you're just dealing with the muscle, if you can knead dough, you can do a massage. And by the way, tell the next person who gives you a massage that sounds or that feels like a giant eagle trying to take you to their nest to lighten the hell up and try to just knead dough on your shoulders. Don't try to freaking rip my friggin' traps out of my neck or something like that. See, War Sniper says, would be fun a ship classification video. Okay, I'll put it in here. Ship classification video. Don't be surprised if I have to pull out the old whiteboard for that one. It is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't, and yeah. However, I will try to do most of it digitally. Okay, he says again, better to have what it needed than not have. Oh, better to have and not need than need and not have. Yes, I actually lived by that, which is why when I was deployed, I had like 3 knives, or at least 2 different knives, 3 multi-tools. You know, I had extra batteries on me, had 2 friggin' watches, 1 on each arm, usually turned around, and all this other fun stuff. But yeah, it's better to carry extra. Just like you always have an extra set of socks somewhere in your car, preferably wrapped in plastic, because you never know when you're going to need a fresh set of socks. And if you ever want to hear a guy sound like he's doing something he shouldn't be when all he's doing is relaxing, watch a man change from being out in the shit for the past probably dozen hours, put on a fresh set of socks, preferably a warm, soft pair of socks. Oh my, oh yeah. Yeah, that's good. Oh, that's all you're gonna hear. It's just this elation that comes out. Which is why, by the way, if you know somebody who's a hunter or spends a lot of time outside in the winter, a good gift for them, a random gift, is a pair of wool socks. They all, as somebody who goes outside in the winter a lot or used to, a fresh pair of wool socks is friggin' chef's kiss. Let's see. Guardian says, in my area, they have reruns during the weekdays from 1830 to 1900 on the local radio station. Really? That's interesting. Eric said, Odyssey is still going on. I loved it as a kid. I'll take your word for it. I never got into those. When I was a kid, the only thing I would really get into as far as, well, not audio drums. I love the CYOA stuff. back in the day, you actually you got to the end. If you choose this, flip to this page, and you got, the book's like that damn thick, trying to find it. You're trying to not read anything while flipping to the right page. Then you find it, open it up. Those got interesting. Unfortunately, most CYOEs now online are very, how do I put this? I don't know. Maybe that's not enough.
Swing.
Yeah, they're very much like that. And I was asked specifically if I could write one. I said, "Are you going to pay me for it?" No. You're good at writing. You write it. Do you have any idea how long it takes to fully write one of those? With at minimum 20 chapters to each section, because you got to remember, you write the first chapter and then there's a split, so there's two. So now instead of writing one, you're writing 2 chapters for that one level. Okay, you've gone 1 level. Now you have to do double the work. Then after that, boom, you got 4. You're only going up 1 more level. You got 17 more to go, and you're already doubling. 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. It just takes a long, long time to get these done. Could I do it? Yes. Only if I'm getting paid for it. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Chris says, reminds me of a joke. It may not be a foot long, but it smells like a foot. Ugh, a buddy of mine said that to a girl when we finished PT in August. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Oh, shit. Oh, man. Ooh, okay. Why do I have a feeling she looked at you with a face that went, yeah, and just and Erica, yeah, I hope she says something. I'm pretty sure she was so flabbergasted she didn't. You'd be amazed how often that happens, where somebody just says something so, well, look who I'm talking to. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Somebody says something so unbelievably screwed up, but makes perfect sense. And you're just like, fuck. Okay, I'm just going to leave it. Because that's all you can do. Dave Chappelle did the whole thing where he's like, have you heard anything so unbelievably racist that you just had to agree with it? And he did a whole shtick on that. And once he got away from his race humor, Dave Chappelle is fucking awesome. Although me personally, I was sitting, as I was driving with my nephew, I put Cat Williams on. I still think he's hilarious too. Yeah, I'm sure she threw a drink. Yep. Let's see here. Guardian says, a lukewarm shower works to help with dry skin. Yes, it does. That puts drinking that, and plus drinking, I'd say chugging a lot of water. Yes. Actually, that's one thing and you guys can cut this off of YouTube if you want, because this is one thing a lot of teenagers don't understand. A lot of skin issues come from dehydration. Early onset wrinkles a lot of times come from over dehydration, or letting yourself get dehydrated and staying that way for a long time, even though you will rehydrate later. A lot of folks who work out in the sun, this is why they age, or one of the main reasons they age so fast. It's not the sun beating down. It's the fact, that their skin gets so dry because the body immediately starts pulling hydration towards the core and towards the brain to keep those operating. So the skin suffers twice over. This is one of now, I thought this was actually funny. A guy was trying to get his daughter's friend, I think it was, to stop smoking because she didn't want her, or he didn't want her smoking around his daughter, because he knew that his daughter was going to pick it up. And he was like, it's going to screw up your skin. It's going to screw up your skin. Now, I knew this guy. I worked with him. And I was like, yeah, he's right. You're going to be 20. You're going to look 30 or 40. No. And I went through the whole thing, just like I did before, how it wears on you and it dries you out. And of course, smoking obviously is a lot different than than being out in the sun. However, it has the same deteriorating effect. But I ended up telling her the same thing. Quit smoking and just drink a lot of water. Just keep chugging it down. And as young as she was, she could reverse the effect. And sure enough, she looked over, and one of the kickers was she went over to one of the other women to, I guess, bum a cigarette. They went outside to smoke. They came back in. She sat down and she's shaking. And she's not shaking from withdrawal. She just had a couple of drags and she's shaking. And we're like, what's going on? She was only 30. Looked over. That woman looked like she was 50 at least. And that put the fear of God in that young woman. Me personally, I miss smoking a good cigar. I really, truly miss it. But I know it's extremely bad for me. And I know the kind of shit that can happen. And sorry, went down the rabbit hole. Deep down the rabbit hole. I'm climbing my way out of the rabbit hole. I think I turned the volume up a little too high for the slip space rupture. Here's Guard says, oh yeah, just got some new updates too. Close to half of Texas airports on the two airports in Mexico, the next to the border, have all been closed by both governments. Yeah, I heard about that. Apparently there's a potential drone strike. And it's all because the cartel kamikaze drone was spotted and subsequently shot down. They were flying them into the airports, more specifically military ones. Oh, that's not something they want to do. And I know I've said it before, but I've talked to many guys who are very high up the food chain when it comes to military. And the best one was actually an admiral. And I asked him how long it would take to end the war on drugs if we actually went into Mexico. He says under 72 hours. I was like, that soon? He goes, it takes that long to load up the birds and send them over there. I'm like, what? They know exactly where to hit. I mean, exactly. They would be burning villas down. They know exactly what ordnance to use. They know exactly what to do. They would end the drug war again in less than 3 days. I mean, it's just crazy. By the time any of our guys even cross the border, as far as guys on the ground, it'd be over already. The cartels wouldn't have a leg to stand on. They wouldn't have any backing. And without any type of support, they know they're fucked anyway. So they'd probably just be like, do the whole, fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. I'm gone now. And just out of there. They take the weapons and go off to form their own band of miscreants. But you don't think we would hunt them down? It's what we're trained to do. You know, like the chubby Sparky said there, we turn into the Terminator, load up a rucksack full of beef jerky and bullets and just keep going until we find you. And when we find you, we're not going to be nice. I'll see. Guardian says, yep, a new episode every Saturday. Thought you would have either go online and subscribe, you know, which your local radio station airs at the time. Okay. Brian here saying $50 to shovel a drive. I used to charge $2 to $3. Some people thought that was outrageous. The reason for the $50 is more of an apology because I shouldn't have turned them away the first time. That's why the $50. Not to mention my driveway is pretty long. It's like 250, 300 feet. And plus they got the parking areas on either side, which are big enough to about half the size or twice as wide as a semi 50. Well, you guys know a standard trailer is 53 feet. You could put probably 2/3 of a trailer in each of these parking spots, double stacked. And that's how wide those are. So again, you got to compensate them for what they're doing. Guard says, at least that's the story we're putting out because right now people are talking about seeing some weird ass ship being chased by U.S. jets with somebody staying the jets for 10 seconds behind it. See, I don't know much about, I haven't been following this. I just haven't had a chance to to do much. I've been running around like a jackass for a couple of days, which is why that story is coming out tonight is a 100% off the cuff story. That's why it's also why it's so short. It's only about 10 minutes. Although it did take more than 10 minutes to record because let's face it, I screw up too. You guys should see my editing software. All right. Erica says, Syntax, could you please do a part 2 to the story where Men in Black did some medical experiments to the main character? Okay, which ones? I did a lot of those. Are you talking about ambush predators because they were genetically engineered? Are you talking about they call us monsters? Because that wasn't the Men in Black. That was a genetic accident that just happened to hit the entire planet. Are we human enough? Because that was somebody fucked with their healing pods. You're going to have to be specific, Erica. Exactly. You got to send me the title of exactly which story you're talking about. Now, you're saying part 2, so I've done like 300 or 400 different stories, so I do forget some of them. So, again, Erica, just let me know the title. Send me either an email or put it on the Discord if you can. Again, my Discord is not working right, so if you have trouble getting on there, I apologize in advance. Let's see. Guardian says, he'll spit right in your eye. He's going to live forever. Born to mean to die. I don't know what song that's from. It sounds familiar, but I'm having trouble placing it. Having a lot of trouble placing it. Let's see. Erica is talking to Gar. Say, is that why El Paso was shut down? Yes. By the way, yes. Xenos or demons are getting bold. There's a possibility that it's both. And that's one of the kickers about this whole thing. Everybody says, is it aliens or is it demons? Why does it have to be or? It could be both. It could also be interdimensional something or others. I don't know. Nobody's telling us anything. They try to treat us like fucking mushrooms. They keep us in the dark and feed us shit. And it's just crazy. So could it be that they're fucking around with a whole lot more different type of beings? Yeah. I don't know. All I know is there's certain things that just don't make sense history-wise. Because when you look at Tartaria, the loss of Tartaria was around the time of the year without a summer. I know the mud flood definitely was. And, it's kind of crazy. A lot of things in history just don't match what we've been taught. So because we've been taught the wrong history, it wouldn't be surprised me that they're totally screwing this up on who, what, or when, or where, why, whatever the fuck is going on when it comes to the border. Now, the kicker is because it's the border, it sounds political as shit. And it could simply be exactly what they're saying with the drones. Okay, Guard says, no, I'm talking about Spider-Man Noir, the 1920s themed detective Spider-Man that doesn't hesitate to put a bullet in your head. That's Spider-Man, the one voiced by Nicolas Cage in the Spider-Verse. I never saw I wanted to. I never did see Spider-Verse. Doug says, the best way to fix stage 1 and 2 frostbite is to put your hands and feet in running cold water. It hurts like you. Yeah, because we had to hold people into place while you did that. And it wasn't, it was tepid water for sure, but it's just, wow. The absolute screaming, cursing, biting, thrashing. You're talking somebody in 2-point restraints and we still had trouble holding them down. One of them, it wasn't actually running water. All we could do was submerge their feet. It was stage 1 not stage 1 frostbite. That's chilblain. They were just going into stage 2 where things were starting to turn colors they're not supposed to. And the best we could do at the time was actually submerge 1 foot and 1 hand into buckets of, room temperature water. And yeah, the screaming and yelling. And again, I'm glad I was away from his head because that motherfucker was biting. It's horrible. Just catching bits and pieces there, Erica. Well, we're kind of all over the place, as is. The pot roast is almost ready, Chris. Yay! Yeah, I had leftovers from that we got my nephew to cook for us during the Super Bowl, but we bought a lot of food. Oh dear God, I am too full. I also torqued the living piss on myself, so getting out of bed was a luxury this morning. I almost didn't make it. Oh shit! Excuse me, something came up. Hold on, let me push it back down. Well, that's one down. Although my next beer is a birch style. Anyway, Guardian says, I know a 6-person long planetary stealth assault craft has 2 to 3 decks and is at least 35 meters long. And a company stealth assault cruiser is big enough to dock at least 6 of them. Okay, is this from one of the games or is this something you wrote? Anyway, 6-person planetary. Now, depending on the technology, you might require 6 people to pilot a craft. It really depends on the tech level you have or are working with, which is why I've been doing more often where you will actually hear the evolution of the vessels, how they were very clunky. Basically a spaceborne Model T when they went up, and now you're basically driving Lamborghinis, which are actually better than Ferraris, believe it or not. But you guys probably know cars. And yeah, there's Erica saying she'll find it. Yep. Oh, from King of the River from the movie Davy Crockett and the River Pirates. River pirates, we understand those types of pirates. They want your booty.
Swing.
And honestly, I just had I might actually need another beer. I can hear a Chinook out my window. And he's not even moving all that fast. Is he coming in? Ugh. Let's hope he doesn't land anywhere close, because if he does, I might have to cut this short just to actually grab a rifle, because they found me. I don't know how, but they found me. Run for it, Marty! Chris says, I only watched the Super Bowl for the halftime show, so said no one. Yeah, especially nowadays. I'm sure you guys seen it. It's gone viral. This guy, he's holding the phone way too close to himself, and I don't understand why people do that. But he's making a very good point. He's being called a bigot and an istophobe and this, that, and the other thing because he refused to watch the halftime show, to listen to a guy sing in a language he doesn't understand and dance around in a way that makes him uncomfortable and all this other crap. Yeah, when the halftime came up, we turned to channel 2. We were trying to find something else to watch, and we ended up just turning everything off and waiting 25, 30 minutes, and then boom, beer me. Just because you don't want to watch something. But they've all been cringe. They've always been cringe. Ever since I was a kid, and they're like, oh yeah, Michael Jackson's going to do a song and stuff like that. He spends 5 minutes standing there, just kind of not doing anything, just stare. And you think he's going to do like Thriller or something. No, he does some sort of cringy We Are the World or some such garbage like that. I'm like, what the fuck? This is supposed to be a bunch of hard asses on the stage. What the bring the players back out early. They get paid enough. They don't need to rest. But yeah, it's always been like that, guys. And it's so bad. Ugh. It's like I said, I don't watch grown men play a kid's game. I really don't. Every time they come out, I'm like, this is so full of crap. And yeah. I say, you know what? Set up both teams on the either side, give them pikes and sword, let them go at each other. That I'll watch. But until then, especially when they started disgracing the country they're from,
You gotta be fucking kidding.
and I'm just like, yeah, we're all gonna stop watching, and you guys gonna stop making all the money.
Gotcha, bitch.
And you know, it is what it is. You want to shoot yourself in the foot? Fine, do it somewhere else. Guardian says a 6-person team from planetary infiltration and sabotage in preparation for invasion and for bombardment. Oh, okay. So you got a lot of people watching sensors, making sure everything's going right. Okay. That makes sense. Not to mention a small team is harder to find. The problem is whenever you're coming through an atmosphere, you're going to make a disturbance. It's like moving through water. A submarine is silent but deadly like a fart, but it still moves water around. It can still be picked up if somebody is sensors are strong enough and they're watching close enough. As silent as like the US nuclear subs are, they still make some sort of noise when they move through the water. Nothing's perfect. So yeah, the smaller the ship, the smaller the signature is what I was getting at. Creed rocked the halftime show. I don't remember them being on there. I've watched maybe 2 Super Bowls in the past 20 years. Maybe 3. Me personally, I just don't get into it. Guardian saying that the 6-person team is a galactic standard, except for humans, which I know, I use that a lot. But it does work. Doug says, my fingers turned white, oh crap, and I couldn't move them unless I used my torso to force them to move. My grandma used cold running water to thaw out my fingers. Yep. The worst I've ever seen that, I shit you not, we were up in Fort Drum. It was blizzard conditions. We're all standing there with those stupid fucking berets. So one side of your face is nice and or one of your ears is warm, and the other one is so cold it gets to the point where you can't feel anything. And then you cover it, and you're just like, oh, okay, now I'm getting feeling back. Why does that hurt? Why does that hurt? Oh my God, that hurts like hell. And yeah. A lot of us came back in, became like, haha, your ear is white. Yeah, yours is white too. We look in the mirror and we're like, oh, no, this is actually really bad. And of course, they didn't care. Every division you go to, every new post, there's always that one battalion where if you say you're from there, everybody goes, oh, dude, I'm sorry. And they mean it. It's kind of a joke to lighten things up, but at the same time, not so much. War Sniper coming back says, Sin, we're invading Cyberstan on Helldivers 2. I saw the video. It is the Clancers, their homeworld, and we have more than 75% liberated. One of their cities. Okay, well, I'm sure that's a fun dive into there. Now, one of the things I've actually noticed on some of the old videos, and now tell me if they still do this, the automated mortar system. You're going to have to let me know if they have that. And apparently one guy kept getting kicked out of the server for doing this. He would find out where the most likely landing zones were. He'd find 2 landing zones of potential enemies, and he would set up the mortars just within range of that so they could traverse to each one. So as one's coming in, dropping their guys, all of a sudden these automated mortars are just launching like crazy. I know my hand's doing that. But anyways, it's launching like crazy, sending like 20, 30, 40 mortars into the air before anybody even fully touches down. Then the mortars come, they hit the drop ship lands on everybody. Whatever doesn't crush, here comes the rest of the mortars just blowing everybody to pieces. And then by the time it's done with those, the next one's coming in from the other side, and then boom, 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 boom over there. So do they still do that? I wonder. Because you know what? It works. I was looking into doing a kind of a Let's Play-ish type thing with Attack on Toys, because I looked into that months ago. And no joke, it seemed like every time I found a new map somebody built, there was always an easy, very simple way to beat the opponents, especially when it comes to AI opponents. And one of them, I'm just going to let you know, if there's a big-ass wall that they have to skirt around, you set up your defenses so that as they're skirting around, all of your direct fire cannons are right there firing right into their fucking face. And then you just start spamming all your mortar rounds to launch over the wall right into their base. It don't take but 2 minutes and their base is torn to shit. But that makes the game rather boring. Douglas says, I wanted to use the stove, but I was told it would make my fingers explode, basically. Actually, yeah, they'll crack. You damage everything down into the molecular level. It hurt like hell to thaw them out. It always does. Always, always does. The worst I ever had it was, like I said, up in Fort Drum. They had us basically run 3 miles in no snivel gear at -44 before the wind chill. I will never forget that. -44 before the wind chill. Probably because it's so easy to remember. And yeah, we all were showing signs of hypothermia. All of us. And one poor guy, the dumbass wore a metal watch out there. So even though he was fully covered up, he still got phase 1 frostbite all the way around his wrist. Really bad case of chilblain. That's where the outer layer of your skin freezes. It hasn't quite got to the inside yet. The inside is phase 2, and phase 3 is when everything starts to die. You get to 4, and things will literally snap off just by moving. Ugh. It's disturbing. It's like that Snowpiercer friggin' show, whatever it is, where they stick the person's arm out to let it freeze as a form of punishment. Or is that a show or a movie? I forget. And I'm just like, why? It's not even, that's just messed up, by the way. Because that's actually unbelievably painful to freeze like that. Especially when it takes minutes. Let's see. Chris says, I watched the Creep performance in Kuwait. It was 2001, if I remember correctly. Okay. Oh, Creed performance in Kuwait. I don't remember. I was actually prepping to go into the service at that point. So worst neighbor. Oh, he's sending all his reports, his AAR notes, his after action report. Hell divers at the field. Oh, current action report. Sorry. It's hell divers at the field. 169,000 giggity 719. Enemies killed. 1,046,431,066. Helldivers KIA. 43,826,195. Bullets fired. 5,678,881,971. That's not enough bullets fired. I'm just going to tell you straight up. If you're, that's not enough. You should be doubling that number. especially if you can bring in additional equipment. That should be those are rookie numbers. That being said, that's a lot of killing. That's a lot of bad juju right there. That's crazy. Especially since you've lost, let's see, 27%? I'd have to do the math real quick, but that's a high casualty rate. You're usually routed at that point. Chris talking about his with the Creed, he says, wait, no, I watched it while between training, and then watched the next one in 02. Okay. Now, the thing is, one of the key things about the halftime show is you remember Janet Jackson with the wardrobe malfunction? I've never seen a bigger pile of shit. They were talking about that for weeks, people. Fucking weeks. And it was a complete setup, unless she always walks around with metal pasties on underneath her clothes. It's such a line of crap. And the thing is, what's his name? The guy that supposedly it's his hand that ripped her blouse open or whatever. He was catching death threats for a friggin' stage skit. Just no. War Sniper up here saying, yes, we have mortar and EMP mortar sentry. Okay. You can try this. Link up with your buddies to do this, because I don't know how many of those automated mortar systems you can set up. However, what you want to do is set up basically a creeping barrage. Say you each of you can only set up 10 of these. You set up yours, just yours, no one else's. You set up yours in a line or a reverse cul-de-sac so you can protect yourself. And then you have, you do your fighting a little bit, and then your next guy, your next buddy number one, goes to somewhere close to the limit of your range and then sets up his. And then you all move up together, and you keep doing that over and over and over and over again. It works. I will say this, though, if you're doing that against live players, they will get you banned, because that is one of the exact same reasons why, shocking no one, guys in Battlefield 1, they got banned. It was just a genius way of doing it. They knew exactly where to hit whenever they said we're target, and they were doing actual fire commands. Target, bravo, set, hang it, and then you just hear them all chime in. Hang it, fire 2, fire 3, assault through, and then by then the few people that were engineers would push in. That's just a smart way to do it. They literally blew up the entire area, took everybody out, and then right behind those explosions were you guys. That's the point of the creeping barrage. I don't know how well the EMP mortars work. If they work better, use that. Okay, let's see. Guardian's coming back to his stealth assault teams. He says stealth assault teams are always set up as multiples of 2 to 3, with 4, 6, 8, and 12 being most common. Though 12 is quite rare, as it's easier to just use either a cruiser or, 2 assault craft. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, I can fully see it. Chris here, that time period was strange and a blur, but I still remember September. Remember never mind. I know that one. Warris Never says, we have a creeping barrage system. Okay. Yeah. We call it orbital creeping barrages. Hey, whatever works. Oddly enough, the first time that was used, at least here on this planet, was towards the middle of World War I, where artillery truly was the king of battle. Most of the losses were due to artillery barrage. At least the combat losses were artillery barrage. And what was the big thing is when they started using the howitzer, where it actually had the piston that allowed the barrel to go back and forth, and then they didn't have to roll everything back and roll it forward, so they could get a better on target. And they would do not only time on target, so things were hitting all at the same time, they would also use the Coriolis effect. And for those of you who don't know, the Coriolis effect is simply the movement of the Earth as it's rotating along with the curvature that you're shooting over. Calculating that, you can put a round within a spot only about a meter wide. I mean, it's just crazy how good it is. The artillery guys we have now with those fucking M777s, fuck me sideways. They are fucking accurate. Yeah, Chris is right here. In World War II, the creep cleared the wire for the troops to advance. Yep. And you would think that the shot rounds, where they would actually explode, the shrapnel rounds, would clear all that wire more effective. No, the HE was what worked, because the actual force was enough to, if it didn't shatter the wire, it at least broke it, flung it up in a different direction. And the thing is, once it flings up and it goes back around, it just crumbles into this weird ball of, I don't know, spiky death. It's like the world's worst kidney stone. And then you just run around it. And oddly enough, they do have one video. I still remember, I seen it one time, and this happened. They hit the wire in a way where it just ended up in one big gaseous ball. And both sides didn't care about shooting each other. Both sides wanted to be the first one to shoot that to pieces. It's just like, and somebody's sitting there, they got a camera on one of the barrage balloons, and they're watching this, and there's no sound, obviously, and you could tell, you can almost feel it through the camera, this guy going, what the fuck are they doing? But, I mean, it is what it is. The only time the barrages don't work, especially the creeping barrages, is either A, there's an extremely narrow trench, which, by the way, that's why that was done so much, because inside said trench, unless they get a direct, literally straight down, you're not hitting the bottom and ending anybody. If you're going over the top, if it's wide, they have a chance of hitting the bottom, and then, everybody in front of you is fucked. But a narrow trench, it's going to go over, and it might hit the top, but everybody down below is going to be fine. That's why you keep your head down. Or you get under cover somewhere deep into the ground until somebody digs a tunnel and fills it full of TNT, and then kablooey. Another World War I tactic. Dig a hole, a deep hole, right inside, and then blow it right up their ass. So, anyway, let's, speaking of which, let's see a little tank action. Okay, I don't see any more comments, so I'm just going to leave a little bit. Just a quick reminder, guys, make sure you are subscribed, still subscribed, and if you could hit the likes. Also, when it comes to the videos, guys, that I put out, don't waste a hype on this one here. Any type of just regular story, if you have a chance to use the hype and you want to, I would greatly appreciate it if you did. Just helps the channel a little bit. I appreciate it very much. And you know what? Let's might as well put a little bit of artillery here. That's a headache. All right, looks like Guardian's out. Looks like everybody's out. I'm just going to do my safety brief. You guys know, if you drink, you don't drive. If you drive, you don't drink. If your buddy wants to drink and drive, feel free to beat their ass. It's also slick out there, so for the love of God, be careful. And also...
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
That is an extra $2 super, sticker from Skip, also known as Will Yum Cassidy. And thank you very much, Will. Very much appreciate it. And I'm just going to finish up my safety brief here. Again, be careful on the roads, guys. You cannot see the black ice. Okay? It's almost killed me at least twice. Let's not do this again. If you can help it at all, do not walk on any of the ice. Chances of you slipping and falling are very fucking high. If you're not used to walking on it, you don't know how to handle it. That's not a shot. That's just a fact. There's no shame on that one at all. However, you might want to keep yourselves in fighting shape for whatever's coming. Also, if your little soldier's going in the bush, make sure he wears his poncho. It gets very moist in that bush. And aside from that, you guys know winter is not yet over. Okay, make sure you always have a backup plan. You have your batteries lined up for your flashlights. You have a way to charge your phone, all that sort of stuff, and plenty of blankets. All right, if you can do that, you're pretty much going to be able to weather it, and hopefully everybody can weather it just fine, because pretty soon it's going to be maple syrup season, which means I'm going to be spending probably 12 hours outside every single day or more. And we'll see how it goes. But until then, I will see you all next week on Syntext Live. I'll catch you later. Take care of yourselves. This is Syntext.